Hello Kita Queens and Kita Beauties. Another day, another slay, and I'm back with another client tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to be showing y'all how to create this soft glam look on my beautiful client. So we're just about to step right into the tutorial. As you can see, I'm starting this video off by cleaning my model's face, and I just want y'all to look at her lashes. Like, that was so pretty. I think it was the inspiration for this beat, but I'm jumping straight into the makeup by filling in her brows, and to do so I'm using my Nika K eyebrow pencil, and it's in the shade Black Brown. When I'm outlining the brows, I like to elongate the front of them just to make sure it reaches the edge of their nose. I believe this helps me with the ombre effect. It helps me blend them out more. I like to do this with all of my clients. And before I fill them in, I'm trying to get the brows as evenly shaped as possible. So now that I have this one outlined, I'm just going to go ahead and proceed to outline the other side. Now that we have a good shape going on, I'm going to go ahead and start filling in her brows at the back and working my way to the front. To fill in the back of her brows, I'm using the same shade eyebrow pencil that I used to outline them, which was the shade Black Brown. And I'm going to be taking this about 3/4 of the way, and I'm making sure I brush out as I go just so the product doesn't get too built up. Now I'm taking a lighter shade eyebrow pencil. This one is in the shade Light Brown, and I'm using it to shade in the front of her brows just to make sure they're more blended. And y'all already know I love me a good ombre, and once I have it all filled in, I'm just going to brush it out as well just to make sure everything is good and in place. Okay, I like for the brows to be snatched, honey, so I'm making sure I really take my time with this. The brows have been fully filled in. Now I'm just going to take some of my translucent powder and I'm going to press this throughout her brows. I normally do this after I clean them up, but for some reason I just wanted to go ahead and do that step. Now I'm taking a little bit of some clear eyelash glue, and I'm using this as eyebrow gel. I like to use it just to lay the hairs down so they aren't sticking up once it comes time to clean them. To clean up under her brows, I'm going to be using these two concealers, one from RK by Kiss and the other one from NYX. First, I'm taking the NYX one and I'm using it to clean up under her arch just so it could be nice and highlighted. Then for the remainder of the way, I'm going in with the RK by Kiss concealer. Now that I have this brow all clean, I'm just going to go ahead and buff that concealer out. I'm going to follow the same routine on this side just in case anyone missed it. So once again, I'm taking that NYX concealer in the shade Caramel and I'm using it to clean up under her arch. And to do so, I'm using this dual-ended brush. It has a blending brush on one side and a flat brush on the other side. I already included this brush in one of my brush videos, so if you're interested in it, I will have that video linked in the description box down below. Now I'm going in with the RK by Kiss concealer and I'm using it to clean up the remainder of the way. I want to apologize for my hair getting in the screen. I feel like I say this in every video, but when I'm really concentrating, y'all, I have to be directly in my client's face, so there's the reasoning for that. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up the top of her brows. I went ahead and buffed the concealer off camera, so this is what the brows are looking like. Nice and fleeky, if I do say so myself. Now I'm taking my Bperfect eyeshadow primer and I applied this all over her lids because this is what I will be using as an eyeshadow base. So if you want your look to come out smooth, you want to make sure her eyes are nice and evenly coated with whatever product you decide to use. Jumping straight into the eyeshadow, I'm starting this look off by taking this deep brown eyeshadow and packing it on the outer edge of her eye. I'm not really focusing on blending this shade out. I just want to build up the color first. This brown shade came from my Jaclyn Hill times Morphe palette and it's the second darkest shade that's in the palette. Next, I'm going in with the brown shade from my Juvias Place Zulu palette and I'm going to be using this as my transition. Y'all, this is one of my favorite transition shades to use. It works on any skin tone. I really wish they sold this in like a single eyeshadow because baby I will buy this up, but I'm just packing this on and I'm using it to blend out the edges of the first shade that we used. And once I have the color built up, I'm going to go back in with that dark brown and use it to further blend. When doing this type of look, you want to make sure you keep the transition shades underneath the arch. You will not need to bring them up towards the front of the brow because that's where the lid shade will be. So yeah, just make sure y'all keep this on the outer edge of your client's eye. Moving on to the lid shades, I'm first taking this matte white eyeshadow and I'm applying it into the inner corner of her eye using this e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. Wanted my pink to be really pigmented on her eyes, so I took my P. Louise base in the shade Winter Rose and I'm just dabbing this on her lids using this buffing brush. This step is optional. You can always use a white base and then just go on top with a pink eyeshadow, but I just really love the way this turned out. Now I'm taking this big concealer brush and I'm using it to help further blend out the base. This is the same brush that I used to apply the powder onto her eyebrows, so it kind of set the concealer in place for me as well. I'm taking a pale pink eyeshadow and I'm applying it right on top of the base using that concealer brush. Since this is a no-cut crease look, the eyeshadow does not have to be applied neatly at all. You just have to make sure everything is blended. So as you can see, the blend is coming through, baby. So we're finished with the eyeshadow. Now I'm taking my Wet n Wild black liquid liner and I'm using it to draw a line across her eyes. I wanted my liner to be a little thick. Yours does not have to be this thick at all, but I felt like this look was coming off a little too natural, and even though it is a soft glam, I still wanted it to have more of a dramatic effect, so that's why I decided to do this liner this thick. I'm taking some dark brown eyeshadow mixed with a little bit of black, and I'm using it to blend out the edge of the liner into the eyeshadow. I lined the inner corners of her eyes to give them more of a feline effect. I had to do this step off camera just because that's something I really struggle with. Now I'm fanning it in place before we move on to the face, and I went ahead and moisturized her face off camera. Now I'm going in with my calamine lotion and I'm using it to prime her skin. She has a little bit of hyperpigmentation around her mouth, so I'm showing y'all how I would correct that. I don't like using color correctors because I don't know, it's not what I like to use. I just like to use my calamine lotion and I place it anywhere that I need a little bit more coverage on, and then I just go in with my Real Technique sponge and I use it to thin this product out. This is what it looks like after I fully blended out the calamine lotion. I know it looks a little crazy, but bear with me. Now I'm going in with these two foundations from Fit Me, and first I'm going in with the lightest shade and I'm just applying it into the inner portions of her face. Now I'm taking a darker shade and I'm just going to be applying this around the perimeter of her face. To blend out these two foundations, I'm going to be using a dense foundation brush, and I get this brush from AliExpress. A lot of y'all keep asking me about this brush and I've already included it in 3 videos, but if you're interested, the link will be in the description box down below. This is the last time I'm going to do this, okay? Do y'all see how smooth and flawless this foundation is just melting into the skin? Okay, that's that calamine lotion. If you haven't got some calamine lotion yet, I recommend that you do, because it's like the best face primer that you could ever use. You will not be disappointed. And the brand of calamine lotion that I use is the Walgreens one. Now that we have a nice even base, I'm going to go ahead and highlight her skin. And to highlight her face, I'm using that NYX concealer in the shade Caramel. To blend out that concealer, I'm going back in with my foundation brush just to make sure everything is well melted in place. Y'all know I love me a nice flawless blend. To blend out the concealer on her nose, I'm going to be using my Real Technique sponge just to keep it as evenly in place as possible. This is going to help when it comes time to contour her nose. While the concealer is sitting under her eyes, I'm going to go ahead and contour. And to contour her face, I'm using my Juvias Place foundation stick in the shade Sokoto. To blend out her contour, I'm going to be going back in with that foundation brush, and I'm just using it to press everything out. I'm taking a little bit more of that contour shade on this small eyeshadow brush, and I'm using it to sculpt out her nose. Now I'm taking my concealer brush and I'm using whatever excess concealer is left on the brush to clean up the center of her nose, and I'm just going to blend everything out using my Real Technique sponge. Last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and blend out the concealer that I let sit under her eyes, and to do so, I'm using my damp Real Technique sponge. To set the highlighted areas in place, I'm going in with my Fit Me pressed powder, and I believe it's in the shade Sun Beige. If not, I will have the correct shade in the description box down below. Before I move on to setting the other areas of her face, I'm taking my Dermablend translucent powder and I'm using it to bake underneath her eyes and wherever else I see fit. To set the contoured areas of her face, I'm using my black radiance pressed powder and it's in the shade Black Coffee. Y'all should be so used to me using just about the same products in every client tutorial because I just have some products that I can never let go, and this is one of them because this is like the best shade you could ever use to set any type of contour. It's warm and it's smooth, so I just love it. To set the remaining areas of her face, I'm using my Fit Me pressed powder and it's in the shade Mocha. Wanted this look to have a little bit more detail, so I'm taking my e.l.f. camo concealer in the shade Fair Rose and I'm using it to draw a white accent line under her feline eye. Then I'm going to take my black gel liner and I'm using this to line her waterline. Now I'm going back in with that foundation brush and I'm using it to press in any of the powder that I have resting on her face. I'm taking the orange and the pink blush from my Juvias Place Saharan blush palette and I just mixed them together and applied them to the apples of her cheeks. Now I'm taking a medium brown colored eyeshadow and I'm just applying this to her lower lash line to smoke out that liner. To highlight her face, I'm using a champagne colored eyeshadow from my Fantasy palette. You can find it on Amazon. Before I do her lips, I'm just going to spray her face with some setting spray and I make sure I cover up her eyes because I don't know about y'all, but my setting spray has some oil in it, so for it to not mess up any of the eyeshadows that I do, I just make sure I cover up the eyes. And now I'm going in with my Bougie Girl fan and I'm using it to dry the setting spray in place. And once I'm finished with that, I'm going to go ahead and do her lips. So for her lips, I'm doing a nude glossy lip, y'all already know. So I'm outlining her lips first using my LA Colors dark brown eyebrow pencil, and I did slightly overline her lips just a little bit, and now I'm going back in and filling in the corners of her lip. For the center of her lips, I'm going in with this lip gloss from KolorMeHappi off Instagram, and it's in the shade number 5. I'm going to go ahead and re-outline her lips a little bit with my LA Colors Dark Brown Eyebrow Pencil. And once I'm finished with that, that'll basically be the finished look. Alright y'all, I just have to adjust my camera real quick and then we'll be getting into the grand reveal.
Okay, you ready to see?
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, I love it. That's crazy. That's pretty.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you did that.
Girl, gonna have to find somewhere to go.
I know. See. Like I said, I never do my makeup this good. Shit.
Girl.
Even brought my lashes back to life. That's pretty.
Period.
As y'all can see by my model's reaction, this video was another success. She loved this look, as did I. I think it came out so pretty. This is the video that I took on my phone. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned for my next look because I drop content every week. Also follow me on Instagram. A link will be in the description box down below. Bye bye, queens.